Welcome to the Cheating Stories channel. Of course, you should have known. Why should I have known? I've always trusted you. Always. I was living with Jason, our friend who had just lost his wife. Why would I think you were sleeping with him? I wasn't. I was comforting him. He needed someone to care for him, to help him heal emotionally. Then hold his hand, hug him. Don't sleep with him, especially when you're married to me. He was devastated. He's your best friend. My heart broke for him. So you slept with him. I was comforting him. Don't make it sound tasteless. It is tasteless. I can't believe you. Just get out of this house. I won't leave. I can't explain if I'm not here. You've explained everything. Now I have to decide what to do. Pack your stuff and get out, or I'll throw you out myself. Patrick, you're overreacting. A good friend was in need. I was helping him by sleeping with him. Stop saying that. I did something good, and you're degrading it. Get out. I'm going out, and when I come back, you better be gone. She didn't leave. When I returned, she was at the kitchen table. Are you ready to talk about this like an adult? I glared at her and went upstairs. She hadn't packed anything. Fine. If she won't leave, then I will. I pulled down suitcases from the attic and stuffed them with clothes. I was almost done when Marlon came in. What are you doing, Patrick? Since you won't leave, I will. Please, don't go. We need to go through this together. I ignored her, gathering my toiletries. Patrick, stop acting like a spoiled child. No, you gave that jerk more than my toys. I love you, but I don't belong to you. Jason needed someone to share his grief, and I was there. He'll never be my friend again. It's the end of our marriage. I put my suitcases in the car, and Marlon followed. Patty, please stop this nonsense. It was just helping a friend. He was. Now he's dead to me, like his wife. She was momentarily stunned. Jason was my old friend, but this betrayal ended everything. Please, talk to me. Let me explain. You've already made it clear. He was sad, you slept with him, and I'm leaving you. Please, Patty, stay. We have so much ahead of us. You love me, and I love you. But my feelings for you have changed. Goodbye, Marlon. My lawyer will be in touch. She gasped as I walked out. A flood of calls and messages followed. I deleted everything without reading. I went to the gym to burn off energy. It helped, but not enough. After showering, I checked into a motel. My phone kept buzzing, so I blocked Marlon's number. Calls from my family started. What's going on, Patty? Marlon said you left. Did she tell you why? No, just that you were upset. You need to work through it. She slept with Jason for 3 weeks. What? That doesn't make sense. Are you sure? She told me herself. You must have misunderstood. Work things out. She's your wife. Goodbye, Mom. I had similar conversations with Carly. Marlon's infidelity was seen as my problem. I missed the part where Florence Nightingale slept with her patients. I bought a sandwich and watched a game, but couldn't focus. Jason called, but I blocked his number after a brief exchange. Marlon started using friends' phones, so I blocked those too. Her messages showed growing frustration. Talk to me, Patty. Please come home. We need to talk. I ignored everything. The calls lengthened, but I wasn't going to answer. Monday arrived, and I went to work. I told my boss about the separation and needing time to sort things out. He expected me to stay late to finish my work. Marlon called 10 minutes after I sat down. I had to answer for work. What do you want, Marlon? Thank God. Patty, please come home. We need to talk. No, we don't. You already said everything I needed to hear. You just don't understand. It didn't mean anything. I understand. That's it. You made your position clear, and so did I. Let's move on. Thank you, darling. I'm glad to hear that. What time will you be home? I'm not coming home, Marlon. I mean divorce. Infidelity is a deal breaker. No, you can't divorce me. I love you. There's nothing to talk about, Marlon. We have opposite views on a central issue. I need to get back to work. Don't hang up. If you hang up, I'll keep calling until you agree to meet. She had leverage, so I agreed to meet at Julius at 6:30. Thank you, Patty. I love you. I hung up. The workday sucked. I went to the bank to separate our accounts, called credit card companies, and changed beneficiaries on my insurance. We'd deal with the house later. Thankfully, we didn't have kids. I left work in time to be at Julius by 6:30. I saw Marlon's car. I found her and sat down without greeting. Marlon smiled, but without much confidence. Hi, darling. I want to put this behind us so you can come home. I stared at her. Her smile faded. I'm sorry you're hurt, but it really was nothing. I don't love Jason. He needed me, and I was there as a friend. Like a friend who slept with you for 3 weeks. Please stop, Patty. This isn't helping. I'm the first guy in history to be cheated on by a more pathetic man. Do you know how that makes me feel? You're not pathetic. I love you. I miss you. I need you. Please come back home. You slept with Jason for 3 weeks. Maybe you should ask him to come back. I don't love Jason, but you slept with him for 3 weeks. She clenched her teeth. Please stop, Patty. I see you're hurt. I thought you loved me and Jason enough to understand it was just kindness. There was no passion, no love. I was comforting him. You slept with him. Damn it, Patty, is that all you're going to say? I'm trying to explain, and you're being stubborn. It meant nothing. Then why did you do it, Marlon, if it meant nothing? She stood up. Darling, I know you feel it was wrong. I see the pain in your eyes. I hurt you, and I'm sorry. I was showing compassion. I thought you would understand. We can put this behind us and go back to how things were. Give me a chance, and I'll prove it to you. It's too late. Some things can't be taken back. Marlon tried to grab my hand, but I pulled away. Talk to me, Patty. Tell me what I can do. We need to fix this. Sign the papers when you're served. She didn't sign the papers. Instead, she filed a countersuit for relationship counseling. I resisted, but the judge ruled in favor of counseling. Late Tuesday evening, I found myself in front of Joanna Dillow, MFD. What would you like to achieve, Patrick? I want to speed up the divorce. So you're not interested in saving your marriage? I don't have a marriage. She broke the terms. Marlon, I understand you have a different goal. Marlon was crying. I want this nightmare to end. I want Patty to come home. I want my husband back. I miss him so much. As I understand it, the issue is you had sex with your friend for 3 weeks. Is that correct? Yes. Patty and I went to the funeral. I took time off to help Jason. Patty had to work. Jason was lost, depressed. I started by holding him while he cried. Soon, he clung to me, kissed me, touched me. A couple of days later, we slept together. It was just sex. I don't love him. It was kindness toward a friend suffering deeply. And you didn't discuss this with Patrick. I did when I got back from St. Louis. What reaction did you expect? I thought he would understand. Jason has been Patty's friend since they were kids. He saw how sad Jason was at the funeral. I thought Patty would understand I was helping Jason cope with grief. Patrick, would you like to elaborate on your feelings? Sex is supposed to be just between us. It's how we know we're devoted to each other. But I told you I don't love anyone else. My heart belongs to you. Prove it. What do you mean? You know it's true. Words are easy. Actions show the truth. I do 100 things for you with love every day. Like what? I cook dinner, kiss you, listen to you, make love to you. You cook for friends and family, kiss your parents, listen to your sister, and you slept with Jason. What do you do just for me? Don't be ridiculous. It's different with you. How do I know that? Our fidelity was the one thing meant only for each other, and you threw it away for Jason. Now, nothing belongs only to us. That's not true. We have our love. I don't love Jason. I don't love anyone like I love you. But you can't prove that. The way you dismissed our promises shows I can't trust you. We're done. No, stop saying that. You don't understand. I think we've gone as far as we can today, Joanna said. I'd like to spend the rest of today's session alone with Patrick. Can you come back at 4 o'clock on Thursday, Marlon? Marlon left sobbing. I felt uncomfortable alone with the therapist. Is there any way you can reconsider the divorce? No. So no mitigating circumstances. If she'd been drugged, it would be different. I'd give her everything and kill the bastard who did it. One drunken mistake might be forgivable. But this, she consciously decided to have sex with Jason for 3 weeks, as if she were his wife. I'll never get over it. Do you think there's a difference between having sex and making love? Of course. So she could have just been having sex with Jason but still making love only with you. How can you tell the difference? I don't know. Can you? I can't. I know my own feelings but not others, except by what I see. Do you know how to determine how important commitments are to someone? Tell me. It depends on what they're willing to sacrifice to keep them. Monogamy is hard. Having one partner for 50 or 60 years, forsaking all others, is hard. There's boredom, misunderstandings, illnesses, moods, conflicts, and temptations. Sacrificing intimacy with everyone else shows dedication to your partner. When she chose to sleep with Jason, Marlon showed she wasn't willing to make that sacrifice. If I stayed married, I'd defend myself daily against betrayal. That's not the marriage I want. So there's no chance. Not a single one. Do you believe people can make mistakes, that one action doesn't define a person? Yes, but a mistake is a one-time slip, not repeated action. There's no way back from this. No. Then I need to prepare Marlon for the divorce. No reason to waste time if you're not open to reconciliation. So I don't need to be here Thursday. No. She's devastated, and your presence would twist the knife. If you change your mind, I'd be happy to work with you alone or with Marlon. Thank you, but I won't change my mind. I didn't change my mind. Marlon was inconsolable whenever I saw her. I stopped attending meetings with our lawyers because she cried whenever she saw me. I didn't like seeing her in pain, but I was hurting too. Rage consumed me, but I also felt numb. My new apartment and routine were exhausting. I stayed at work late, and my productivity soared. My colleagues were annoyed by my extensive documentation. I missed Marlon. Her absence was a constant ache. I lay in bed wondering if I made the right choice. I missed her because I loved her. She was kind, generous, smart, and playful. But she chose to sleep with my best friend, and I knew I could never trust her again. Marriage should be a safe haven, not a source of stress. Her betrayal caused immense stress. The year following our divorce was tough. Marlon may have been inconsolable, but I felt crushed too. I rarely went out, despite friends' efforts. I barely saw my family, who were reluctant to condemn Marlon's actions. I mostly stayed in my apartment, watched sports, and visited adult websites for release. Jason tracked me down to apologize. He was waiting for me when I got home late from work. Hey buddy, I want to clear things up. That was all he managed before I punched him. We were about the same height and had little fighting experience, but I had rage on my side. I left him with 2 black eyes, a broken nose, a swollen jaw, and bruises. I might have kneed him in the groin. I made a couple of quiet trips to St. Louis. Jason's M3 was trashed while he was at a bar. Windows and mirrors smashed, paint scratched, body dented, tires slashed, and interior spray painted bright red. His insurance covered most damage, and he bought a used Porsche Cayman. Unfortunately, someone smashed the driver's window and threw a Molotov cocktail inside. It became very expensive for him to get insured again. No one came looking for me, but my credit card receipts showed I was at bars near my apartment. In the end, Jason had to live with being the jerk he was. I didn't see Marlon after the divorce and didn't let anyone tell me about her. She hurt me deeply, but I hoped she found someone to share her life with. We had a lot in common but different views on marriage. When I started dating again, I expected to be let down. I didn't risk my heart and disappointed women. I realized I'd be alone if I didn't trust someone again. So I was upfront about my experience with Marlon and expectations for future relationships. I joined a mountain biking club and met Prisha. She was tall, slender, with long black hair. We talked during the ride and lagged behind the group. At the end, I asked if she'd like to go out for dinner. Her smile was dazzling. Yes, I'd like that. We exchanged contact information. I picked her up at 6, and we had a pleasant evening. I received a warm hug and a quick kiss. We started seeing each other regularly. I was open about my breakup with Marlon. She had twice been in relationships that fell apart due to infidelity, so we were cautious. We didn't become intimate for 4 months. When we did, we lay intertwined in her bed. I looked into her eyes. If we're taking this step, I need to be the only one for you. Prisha smiled and kissed me. Exclusive. I like how that sounds. She was an active lover, passionate and loud. We moved in together after 4 more months. Prisha was warm, generous, and down to earth. I was straightforward and honest. We were compatible but different enough to keep things interesting. We both loved biking, Italian food, and action movies. She didn't understand my passion for curling, and I didn't understand her passion for quilting. We both watched Dancing with the Stars but rooted for different contestants. I worked hard to be clear about my thoughts. Prisha reciprocated. We never had blow-ups. Disagreements were resolved before they became issues. We trusted each other completely. Sometimes, I regretted not communicating better with Marlon. She may have doomed our marriage, but it was my fault too. I assumed we shared the same expectations about monogamy. We caught each other off guard, and I wondered if we could have avoided the unpleasantness by talking beforehand. But we didn't, so we hurt each other. This experience made me a better partner for Prisha, ultimately leading us to a fulfilling marriage. Our son Sid was born 3 years after we married, and our daughter Fi followed. An Indian-Irish mix isn't common, so we're unique. Rule number 1 is that nothing is more important than fidelity. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode of Cheating Stories. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Goodbye.